Hey, welcome to 209coach.com. I want to do a video for you today here with Shohei Ohtani, and here he's just doing, I believe, an exhibition game or an international game in Japan, representing Japan. And I want to just share with you things to avoid in your swing and things that are very common. So hopefully this video will help you to apply what Ohtani does in order for you to maybe avoid doing certain swing flaws that are very common. And by applying what Ohtani does, it's going to help you tremendously to just get your body in the correct sequence, the correct load, and it'll allow you to have a lot of power. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the setup. Now, the setup is so underrated, and you don't really see too many coaches really emphasizing to get started in the correct setup. Now, you can see here with Ohtani, watch just how vertical his hands are right now, how vertical his bat is. And as he starts to get into his swing, you can see he's definitely, there's a move going on here where his hands go from vertical to where they go almost to a 45-degree angle where the bat is pointing towards the outfield. Okay, this is a very common move, and the way this occurs is by having good sequence and allowing your body to work correctly. By allowing your body to work correctly, just like you see here with Ohtani, it's going to allow you to maximize your power. Now, one thing I can share with you here that was just from working with students and players for many years. Many times players don't start like this, okay? So in other words, you can see here with what he's doing here, and if you watch my videos, just watch any video that I have where I'm explaining what the best hitters in the world do. If you have a pretty much a direct opposite side batter's box view, and this is pretty close to a direct opposite side batter's box view, you will see that players start with their hands between the neck and the deltoid. You'll see that starting off at the setup, they'll be very relaxed. You can see there's a lot of flexion there between their elbows, left arm, right arm. Look at all that flexion in their arms, okay? In other words, you don't see a slight flexion, but a lot of flexion, okay? You'll see, again, a vertical bat. That means that he's very relaxed, and he's just getting ready to just focus on the pitcher. No tension should be applied at this stage of the swing. What you see with a lot of players and things that you should avoid is just death gripping your bat, having your bat too slanted towards the outfield. And in other words, what you see a lot of times with players, what they do is when they set up, their bat is literally cocked out something like this, or sometimes it's even behind them, okay? Now, if you have your hands very relaxed and your bat is more kind of in a vertical here, like you see here was Ohtani, is going to allow you the opportunity to get in the correct sequence better. Now, another thing you want to avoid in your swing is having your hands out here, okay? In other words, you don't want your hands to be behind your back foot or even over your back foot. You want to avoid that because, again, that's going to create a less flexion in your arms, therefore more stress in your arms, more tension in your arms. Now, you see here with Ohtani, his hands start high. Many times I've worked with students and their hands are literally out here. Ohtani's hands are right here between the neck and the deltoid. That's what you want. Now, another thing that you need to understand here is this, that when you're working on your swing, it's very important that you let your body work in the correct sequence. And by that, I mean this. Now, we see that the setup is very balanced, and it looks really good right here. Like I just mentioned, a great swing starts with a great setup. Now, again, by what I'm referring to, a great sequence here is, watch this, and this is what you see with the best players in the world. Watch how his upper body and his lower body work together. Okay, now watch his lower body. You can see that his tailbone is rotating towards the pitcher, and at the same time, he's applying that pullback with his top hand. Okay, watch what's going on here. It's almost like they're working in unison with one another. Look at this. The hands, the pullback, and the hip coil work together. Now, what you want to avoid is allowing your hips to work laterally towards the catcher. Now, at this stage of the swing, what I see with a lot of students that I work with over the years, they're not getting any hip rotation. They're not coiling their back tailbone towards the pitcher, but the hip actually works way back here, several frames behind them. In other words, working closer to the catcher instead of avoiding that and working like what you see here with Ohtani. Okay, you don't want your hips working towards the catcher. Now, having a little bit of a lateral move going back, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But you can see here with Ohtani, watch how he moves back just a little bit, but he starts to coil his hips very quickly, okay, or very smoothly, but he does it very soon in his swing, very soon in his gather. He just gets right there, he lifts the leg, and what he does, he starts working with a perfect sequence where the hips and the back elbow work back and behind him. And again, what you see and what you want to avoid with lower level players, the hips just keep moving back, 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 where his are working more closer and closer and closer towards the pitcher. Now, this is going to give you tremendous power in your swing if you do this on with your mechanics. Okay, now grab a bat. If you have a bat, do this in front of a mirror and just try to coil your hips and at the same time apply pullback. Now, the pullback, it should be something that is very smooth, applied with very smooth tempo. It shouldn't be anything abrupt. From like 1 to 10, I tell my students, I personally hold the bat like a 3 or a 4 grip. Okay, you want to feel like you're just feeling very relaxed, but you still want to apply pullback. Okay, as you're applying the pullback, you want to coil your hips like Ohtani. Now, watch his lower body. Watch how much he coils that lower body. Okay, this is just amazing how much coil he's getting by applying this technique. This move is going to allow your lower body to really wind up very nicely, okay? Your lower body is going to be coiled very nicely, coiling that back leg, that back hip by using your lower body to work like this, working in a rotational manner where the tailbone looks like it's going towards the pitcher. Now, look at his belt buckle. Look where it's pointing right now. And as he gets into his toe touch, look where his belt buckle is pointing now. It's almost pointing to the catcher's glove, where right here when he starts off is pointing at direct opposite side batter's box view. This is a great checkpoint for you if you are not applying this particular move. Now get in front of a mirror, and if you have a belt on, see that if your belt is pointing like this towards the catcher's glove area when you're at your swing, okay? Now also when you're doing the strokes, again, the sequences, apply both of them together. Watch and see if your back elbow is literally like how you see here with Ohtani, where you pretty much have a shoulder to elbow look. Many times what I see with a lot of students that I work with at this stage of the swing, their back elbow is literally down here. You're losing a lot of power, a lot of torque. Okay, when you do not allow your back elbow to work back and behind you, you're going to lose a lot of power. So avoid not getting any pullback. And again, I would highly recommend for you to do this in front of a mirror and just apply this. Now, another thing that you're going to see with the best players in the world is when they get into their setup there, you can see how his top hand's kind of pointing towards the pitcher. And as he starts to get into his heel plant, you can see here, it's very obvious now that his palm is facing downwards. Okay, that's what you want in your swing. Many times what I see with players at the toe touch stage, the hands are still, or the palm is still facing in the direction of the pitcher, not using their body, their wrists correctly. In other words, they're not applying proper pullback, okay? Now, as you start to get into your swing, try to avoid losing or leaking your load. And by that I mean this. Watch what happens here. As he gets into his heel plant right here, he's in his heel plant right here. Watch how the bat, okay, and this is something for you to check on in your swing. When you get into your heel plant, look in the mirror. Again, do this in front of a mirror. Get into and look in the mirror. As you get into your heel plant, is your bat still pointing in the direction of the catcher as you get into your heel plant? You notice here, he gets into his heel plant. Look how his bat is still pointing in the direction of the catcher. Now, at this stage of the swing, what I see with a lot of students, the bat is actually pointing in this way, okay? Not like you see here with Ohtani. His bat is at this angle, and the reason why players have their bat pointing downward is because they're not applying proper pullback. You want to maintain the pullback well and deep into your swing. Again, we're looking here at a really relaxed setup. You're looking at hip coil, great sequence where the upper body and lower body work together. You want to maintain the pullback, and this is going to allow you to allow your bat to work around the corner of your deltoid. Now again, if you're doing this in front of a mirror, okay, very slowly apply what I've just asked you to do, and what you should see in the mirror is you should see that your back elbow is working behind you, just like you see here with Ohtani, okay? You see it's very obvious here that his back elbow is back here, all right, and his hands are working up here. Okay, this is what happens when you apply excellent pullback. Many times what I see with students is because they're not applying this, their elbow is literally here and their hands are behind their elbow. This is because players do not apply proper pullback or maintain the pullback. So when you're doing this in front of a mirror, very slowly and methodically at first, and you always want to have very, very smooth tempo. You should see that your bat is working behind you around the corner of your deltoid, just like you see here with Ohtani, and you will also see that your bat speed is behind you. Notice where his bat is, where that blur is of his bat. The bat blur is behind him. Why is that? Because he's applying great sequence. He's applying everything I just said. This allows your back elbow to stay behind your hands. This allows your bat speed to be behind you, just like Ohtani, one of the best hitters in Major League Baseball. Okay, and again, I would highly recommend for you to get a bat and just see if you're applying this where your bat is literally behind you at this stage of the swing. You do not want your hands at this stage of the swing way out here, like I see with a lot of students that I worked with when they first got to me, and their bat is literally about right here. Okay, now if you think about this logically, if your bat speed is working behind you, okay, it's working behind you by applying everything I said. And right here, you can see, watch as he starts to get into a swing right here. Now you can see here that it's very obvious right here that his bat speed right now, what you can see the blur of his bat is literally behind him right here, okay? Because he's applying amazing mechanics. Now, if you think about this logically, the ball's coming in right now. Even if he was to be late, okay, late on the pitch, and just say he caught it right here, he still has an opportunity to do something with the pitch. Now, what I was saying earlier, okay, and this is what happens with a lot of players, and this is why I'm trying to give you this information, is their hands are literally out here. The bat is dragging through the zone, okay? Is dragging through the zone where the bat is kind of like this. And this is what you see. Now, if the pitch is coming in and they're at this stage of the swing right here and the pitch is right here, just like I demonstrated with what Ohtani's doing, there is no chance you're going to get caught up with that pitch, okay? That's why mechanics matter. That's why good sequence matters, why everything I'm sharing with you matters. Now, as you're doing this, what I tell my students is you want to coil the back hip, you want to coil the back leg, you want to coil the upper body by the pullback, and you want to feel like you're staying back, like 90-100% of your weight is staying back. By staying back like this, it's going to allow you to control your body with very smooth tempo. It's going to allow you not to commit to pitches you don't want to hit. It's going to allow you just to have tremendous power and tremendous bat speed behind you, so that you can have the opportunity to still avoid bad pitches. Now again, as you see this, how the bat speed's behind him, and watch how the barrel works below the hands. And the way this occurs is because he keeps the barrel below the hands, but the lead elbow that is working up to the height of the mouth. It works up to the height of the mouth, and he allows to hit to and through the ball. Now again, this video right here, I hope you give me a like, and I hope you learn something in what to avoid. Again, it's so important for people learning this great game to get started with a good setup, and again, apply good sequence, let the pullback and the hip coil happen together, maintain pullback, maintain it, do a lot of mirror work, let the lead elbow work up to the height of the mouth, and stay back, okay, coil the back hip, coil the back leg, and then you want to let the lead elbow work up to the height of the mouth, barrel below the hands, and then from there, just let your body extend through the ball. Please subscribe to my channel, give me a like, and you guys have a great day. Thank you.